Good evening and welcome to Health is Wealth, brought to you by the Chicago Chapter of the National Black Nurses Association and CAN TV. Tonight I have with me Dennis Cole from Eden Supportive Living. Thanks for being here, Dennis.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, so can you tell us a little bit about what Eden Supportive Living is?
Sure, I'll be glad to. Eden's is for individuals with 22 and over with disabilities. Disabilities could be development disabilities. It could be based on their need for services that doesn't allow them to live independently at all times, but that's what Eden Supportive Living is for, those to receive services in-house in an environment where they can still be independent with supportive services for their activities of daily living.
Okay. So why I'm excited and why I wanted to talk to you, have you come on and talk about this, is because there are not any places that I know of in Chicago and hardly in the state of Illinois that allow people that are under 65 to live. If you're under 65, if you've got a substance or alcohol problem, then you can live in a senior citizen building. But if you have a legitimate disability, there's no place for you to go. So, so I'm just excited about this, glad to finally see that there's some place inside the city limits for people that are legitimately disabled to go. So tell me about your admission process.
Okay. Well, most individuals in supportive living communities in Illinois will have to undergo a little background of wellness. So before their admission, they will answer questions about their current condition, what their needs are, as well as have a screening completed before admission. That screening is called a DAWN screening. That's usually done by a case manager or a social worker from the Healthcare Consortium of Illinois. They will do that determination of need screening and will allow the community that they're going to see what their assessment level is. And after that is done, that's completed, there's usually an assessment by a wellness nurse to just make sure that the person's care is being handled prior to admission and then ongoing once they're in the community.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so how extensive is the background check for admissions into supportive living?
At Eden Supportive Living, there is a background check to just verify the individual's history, could be behaviors, could be some things that have been red flagged, the background of just the person's ability to maintain themselves in an environment where they have that freedom. That freedom of independence can allow for certain situations, but we want to be mindful that all residents, in supportive living that are in need of services are being well cared for, as well as their wellness is also important as well, and their safety is very important to families members also.
Okay. So can you tell me what the difference is between supportive living and assisted living?
Sure.
Or a nursing home?
The different communities / facilities make up a difference of either finances. Some are based on assets. If a person's in assisted living, they might pay a rate and then they might receive services based on their need, and that need might be a la carte. They might not need a caregiver 24/7, or they might not need a live-in, or they may just need services just for meals. In supportive living, the supportive living program is also market rate or private pay residents along with Medicaid support. So the Medicaid services that are provided for people in Illinois offset their cost of room and board and services that the supportive living community will care for them, even though their portion might be less than the monthly rate of market rate for that services.
Okay. So tell me about the building. Tell us about the building itself.
Well, this particular building is a new construction. It's going to open in the end of August on the south shore of Chicago, south side of Chicago, and it's 140 units. That 140 units will consist of shared units, a few shared units, about 10, and about 130 private one-bedroom and studio apartments. So the individuals in this particular building would come in and pretty much pick out their unit once they do the eligibility process through the application process. They will also receive services, a wellness check, well-being checks from the nurses, as well as caregivers 24 hours, 7 days a week. There'll be overnight caregivers to assist with basic monitoring and wellness checks. They'll also receive nutritional meals in that community. Those are inclusive, as well as housekeeping, laundry services, as well as there's a movie theater at this particular location in South Shore. There's be a internet room. The complete building will be Wi-Fi,
Okay.
and there will be activity room for fitness and health, as well as a library.
Okay. So, can people that live in Eaton's, can they still work or have other benefits?
Yes, many people can still live there and have job opportunities outside if they are to hold down a position or a job. In the supportive living community, they are aware that the assets or income does turn over to the community based on their income limitations. If they're drawing a certain amount of income, that will also be assessed, and that'll be given back to them as well. But most of the community is set up to assist people with those services. So if you need supportive services with your assisted living community component, it's generally set up to help you get back to independence. So which means if you're going to work full-time and go back to working full-time, you might want to go back into your own, of course, apartment setting and not have all those services, because in that community, those services are going to be the underlying factor of you receiving most of those benefits under which your income currently could be under Medicaid, SSI, or SSDI.
Okay. So, tell me about the apartment.
Apartments. Apartments is a nice thing. We all like our apartments. Apartment is that you have your own room, you have a key to your own unit, your room. It could be a one bedroom again or a studio. And in that apartment, you're receiving your refrigerator, your stove. The meals are included, so there's not a cooking stove there, but there are space for you to create your own living environment. In the one bedroom or a studio, again, you could bring your futon, you can bring a couch, love seat, whatever you want comfortably to place in your unit. You can create your own space, living space in that community.
So, are you allowed to cook, or can you not cook in the unit?
Once again, that's a very good question to ask. In supportive living, the assessment, once the wellness manager does an assessment and can see that the person might be able to handle more independent things like cooking, it's not uncommon to see someone in supportive living have a crock pot, but the hot plates are not really, they're frowned upon in a way because you don't want someone to start a fire or be able to leave it alone or someone trip over a cord. So there's certain things that are in place. That's why the meals are included in that community, so that people have the freedom of not worrying about that. If they do have the choice to heat something up, we will allow them to have that opportunity to heat up foods or to create a meal in our cooking sessions or cooking programs. We'll have also through our activity programs as well.
And what other activities do you have?
There'll be activities of exercise. There'll be activities of mind bender games. There'll be physical activities outside and inside the community. We also have a van that will transport people to activities and events throughout the South Shore area and throughout Chicago. I won't just limit it to the south side of Chicago, but if there's an event or activity going on downtown at Daly Center at one of the museums, we definitely want to be able to encourage our residents to get on board and transport them to those outside activities as well.
Well, what about grocery shopping?
Grocery shopping, our Pace Bus, well, they have their own transportation for grocery shopping. So if they want to go to the grocery store, they're able to do that as well independently. If there is an activity that's listed on the schedule bi-monthly for an outside activity to go shopping, that'll be included on that monthly activity log for those residents to sign up for.
So tell me, how did you all decide to do assisted or supportive living for people that are 22 and older? Because that's just unusual. Like I said, I have a sister that's disabled, and for probably 2 to 3 years, I've been looking for some place for her to live, and every place is 65 or under, or 55 or older. There's only 2 places that I've found in the whole state of Illinois, and the closest one is in Aurora. So, okay, so it looks like we have a caller. We'll let you do that
Okay.
to answer that question.
The question,
We have a caller.
We have a caller?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Hi. Yeah, I'd like to ask. I just tuned into your program and I heard you mentioning about senior living or seniors moving to these apartments. If there's a person who is married, can his or her spouse move in with them, or is it only the person who qualifies?
You know what? Good question. In that community, there is a shared unit. So the shared unit could be utilized for couples or two people, but they will be invoiced separately, though, based on her Social Security or his Social Security. He might have SSDI, she might have SSI. So based on that need, but they need to have also a a reason to be in the community for services rendered. So if one person has needed services, the other person didn't, it kind of wouldn't benefit that person because it would benefit those individuals that both need those services in that environment.
Thanks, caller. So, tell me about how you all decided to do make 22 your
The magic number.
your magic
Fortunately, Mitch Bramlett, the owner of Eden Supportive Living in Aurora, as well as Gordon Terrace, as well as our Champaign community, and now this new Eden South Shore. That's been a niche that has been very much desired in Illinois, in Chicago proper as well. And most supportive living communities are 65 and older. They're just not giving out, Springfield is not giving out too many licenses for the 22 and over category. But this community, again, was able to build another community. It took some years because it's not something that they're doing, giving out just readily available. It took some time to get this approved and through the state. That Eden's has already been doing this. They already have a couple of communities, and there has been a wait list and a large demand for those other communities for people to get to those areas. Our other communities are all full, and we oftentimes have a wait list because that is a very much needed demographic, especially for the social workers and nurses that we see often in the healthcare field.
Okay. So, are you gonna gear things specifically to people that are 55, like the 22, let's say to 45? You know, will there be things that are specifically geared for them?
Awesome. I like that. In an environment where you have a program manager, the activity director and her assistant or his assistant will create a program that's going to be designed for those individuals of young and of the middle age and those a little later years. We know that we're not going to have our seniors who are in their 50s or 60s, early 60s, to be able to do most of the activities of a 25-year-old or 30-year-old. But we don't want to limit our residents because they're of a certain age also. We're going to have programs that's going to be, and it's just going to invite the wellness of the entire community. Yes, there'll be some things that might be geared towards our youth, our younger generation in the community as far as internet activities. It could be some activities outside the community, but we are designing a program that's beneficial and has helped in our other communities as well as will be in our new community. So this is not a pilot situation. This is something that we've done through other communities that have worked very well with our demographics.
Okay. So, do you have any idea of where the majority of your clients will be coming from?
In Illinois, Chicago.
Okay.
And pretty much from the north side to as far as Lincolnshire, I've talked to people and done assessments as far out as even Fox Valley because they're on the wait list for our communities out there. So people in Chicago are not only just going to be coming from the south side and from South Loop or even Chicago itself, but they're coming all from Illinois because this is a need. And to be near the new Obama Library, which is being constructed, the South Shore Lakefront is beautiful. A lot of people are looking at this area as a revitalization, so they're coming from all over Chicago for this community.
Okay. So, do you think that you all will be building more units based on this South Shore? So before you do that, though, we have a caller. So
Okay.
let's take the call.
Caller?
Hi, caller. Hello, caller.
Hi, my question is, how do you deal with clients who have behavioral problems? How is it you're able to manage them?
You said that how would we be able to manage clients with behavioral problems?
Yes.
Okay, thank you for that question. And the assessment will allow our wellness manager to know what, in fact, the community will be able to handle at that level. The one thing a community does not want to do. We don't want to take on the responsibility of caring for someone that's not in our capacity to care for properly. So when there's an assessment done, that behavioral assessment will allow us to know if that person needs medication. That might be PRN, which just means as needed. In overnight hours, there's not a nurse on site in a supportive living community to administer medications on someone who might have a behavioral situation. So we want to make sure that person can either self-administer their medication, if they're able to do that on their own properly, based on nurses' notes or prior documentation. That could help make the determination if that person can stay there and operate in that, or I should say, just thrive in that kind of environment and not digress.
All right.
Thank you.
So there are a lot of people looking for supportive living places for people, So what's going to make you different, your organization different than any other place on the South Shore?
Well, Edens has, the mission has always been to get people back into the normal social lifestyle. Most people go into an assisted environment and then that's where they pretty much stay. We want to encourage people. We want them to be active. We want them to be able to go back to what the things they have done before. And if they aren't able to do those things, they still can age in the community and age in a place where they still receive the services in an environment where they're not pushed out of it because they're doing well. If they want to move out and they want to go back to independent living where they're totally taking care of themselves without those services and they're no longer needed, that's great. But individuals there, we want them to be able to share that information with friends and family who may also find that it was beneficial for them, and they too can be a word of mouth to someone else to say, hey, this was a stepping stone for me to get back on track. No one wants to really stay in a long-term nursing home for 5 or 6 years if they can help it. If they can get back into an environment where they can still have freedom of movement in an environment that will allow them to have the independence and then able to nurture that, we want to encourage that as well.
Okay. So let me ask, what kind of impact are you looking to have on the community that you're going into?
Not only just housing impact, but job opportunities as well. I mean, employment opportunities as well for people to come into the community and work in an environment where they assist people. If you're, you got your own salon, you want to cut hair, we have a space in the building where we can have a licensed barber or beautician come in and actually use that for their outside clients as well as the indoor clients that are in the community as well. So not only does it give the opportunity of housing, but also employment opportunities. We'll staff for dietary staff, wellness staff. They'll also need caregivers in the building as well as housekeepers as well. So there's going to be opportunity for employment as well as housing for people with 22 and over with the assistance needed.
Okay. So have you already started hiring for this particular facility?
They are hiring. They're taking applications now, so that can be done on the website. If you go through the Chicago National Black Chapter Nurses Association, you can find our information through them, and they'll be able to contact you with us, and we can help you get that information out to you.
Okay. All right, because, some of us might be looking for a little part-time work, So what else do you want to tell us about Edens?
Well, I want people to realize that look into supportive living. Supportive living doesn't mean a detriment or a stepping back of what is going to allow you to be who you are, the whole person that you are. But it will also give you an opportunity to maybe take a moment to allow somebody else to get you back on track with you helping yourself. It doesn't mean you're not going to have any assistance. It doesn't mean you have to go at it alone. But you have some components that are set up to assist you in your development. And if those seniors who are, at 55 or even 60 and realize they had a hard time out here and they just want to be able to have those services in place for them, great opportunity to have, look on our website. You can check that out as well, again, and see how you can contact us through our Chicago chapter of National Black Nurses Association here. And they'll give you our website, information to contact me, and then we can set up that appointment.
Okay. And are you all doing walkthroughs now, or how far are you in the process of filling those apartments?
Well, we are in the process. We have a lot of applications, quite a few applications on file we're going through right now to meet the eligibility requirements. Through that application process, we are looking at opening the building next month again and setting up tours. So if you want to set up a tour and come by and see it, it is located in the South Shore of Chicago once again, and it will be opening the end of November. No, the end of August. Sooner
Okay.
than later, end of August 2017.
Okay. So I'm gonna give you the information to contact the Chicago Chapter National Black Nurses Association. Our website is Chicago Chapter National Black Nurses Association.org. Our phone number is 773-792-7222. And feel free to contact us and we will get you information about Eden. If you want to take a tour, if you want more information about how to apply for residency there. We want to just send a shout out to our regular host, Bernetta Pearson, who's still recovering. We want to wish all of the people all the nurses that are on their way to the National Black Nurses Convention in Las Vegas. We want to wish them well and hope that you have a great convention. Come back with a lot of interesting things for us to do. So in these last few minutes, Dennis, just tell us what you want us to know.
Oh, the brochures on the community are out there saying in South Shore, by the South Shore, for the South Shore. South Shore is very much coming back. People say it's coming back, but Eden Supportive Living is for individuals who need assistance with supportive living and activities of daily living. It doesn't limit you to one area of Chicago. So don't limit it to think, oh, it's for the south side of Chicago. No, West Siders, North Siders, suburban people are all looking at the opportunity of this could be the next place that you might want to share with your loved one and come visit your loved one in. Again, the beautiful 140-unit building, just newly constructed. I invite you to come by and see the building, tour, schedule that tour through the Chicago chapter of National Black Nurses Association, and come by and check us out and see for yourself what Eden Supportive Living is like on the south side of Chicago, not just for the south side of Chicago.
Okay, Dennis. Well, thank you. The Chicago Chapter National Black Nurses Association, we meet the second Saturday of the month from 4 to 6 p.m. at the Lutheran School of Theology, 1100 East 55th Street. We will be back in our regular meetings in September from 4 to 6 p.m. Visit our website, Chicago Chapter National Black Nurses Association.org. Give us a call, 773-792-7222 for more information about Eden's or any of the projects that we're doing with the National Black Nurses Association. We also have a gun violence initiative that we're doing and a lot of things. So we will see you right back here next month, the fourth Tuesday of the month. Take care and God bless.